What's going on, everyone? It is the Derv, and in today's video I am dusting off Crown of Tempest. I'm going to show you guys how you can spam your Needlestorm and your Transcendence, as well as be virtually overpowered in every activity you might find yourself in. You will be able to print orbs of power. You will be constantly amplified, and oh, by the way, we're going to take advantage of this season's artifact to give us some insane ability regen on top of our Transcendence and super spam. So if you've been looking for a way to incorporate Crown of Tempest into your Warlock build, this is the video for you. If you guys do like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments how you would change things up or what you like most about this style of play. Hopefully you guys like the video. Let's get it started. To get us started on our Transcendence and Needlestorm super spam build, we of course have to equip Needlestorm. While it is still a very powerful super, the issue I typically have with this is sometimes the woven needles in a less than busy environment when you're going against the boss tend to veer off course and don't all embed themselves into the boss. It's a little bit frustrating, but pretty much every other time I use Needlestorm when in a busy activity, it gets the job done. Still one of the best supers in the game. For abilities, you can either go with Phoenix Dive or the Healing Rift. I prefer the Burst Glide. We need to equip Arcane Needles so that we can have up to 3 stacks of our melee charge to use at any given time. I also prefer to use the Storm Grenade. It is the most potent grenade out there. You could use any other grenade in this build that you want, but the Storm Grenade synergizes best because of our exotic armor that we're going to be using. For aspects, first up is going to be Feed the Void. Defeat a target with any ability to activate Devour. Your Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. Final blows restore health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. Devour, of course, one of the staples in any Warlock build when you are running Prismatic. We want additional ways to get our health back, and we also want our grenade back as often as possible, although we aren't going to be using it as often as, say, our melee. That brings us to Lightning Surge, the main reason we are using our melee so much. While sliding activates your charge melee ability to blink forward, calling down lightning strikes that jolt targets as you rematerialize. Targets that are hit by your lightning strikes grant you stacks of bolt charge. Bolt charge, of course, accumulate stacks of arc bolt charge. While you have bolt charge, sustained weapon damage generates stacks of bolt charge at maximum stacks. Any ability damage generates a powerful bolt of arc lightning at the target's location. So this is going to pair beautifully with our Lightning Surge, and we're going to be generating discharged bolt charge all the time, and that is going to in turn give us our ability energy back even faster. To combo with that, Transcendence is going to be easily spammed on this build. Throw a massive void energy and stasis matter and impact deploys a miniature black hole orbited by slowing field after a short duration. The black hole implodes, suppressing and dealing heavy damage to all nearby targets. I love using this on bosses, but during regular activities, if there is a gob of enemies or possibly even a champ that you can throw this at, it is very useful. Remember, if you actually freeze the champ, that's just going to mean you can take it out even faster. For Fragments, first up on the list is going to be a Facet of Purpose. Every time we pick up an orb of power, we're going to give ourselves Woven Mail. Woven Mail, of course, is going to give us increased damage reduction by encasing us in a protective mesh of tightly woven strand matter. Next up is going to be Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy. We're going to be able to alternate back and forth between both of those with this build, so we should have a fair amount of ability energy on us at any given time. Next up is going to be Facet of Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. While not the only build that can do this, we are going to be able to generate all 5 elemental pickups. We're going to have Fire Sprites, we're going to have Ionic Traces, we're going to occasionally see a Void Breach and a Stasis Shard, and of course we're going to see Tangles. This is only going to further our abilities coming back. Fire Sprites grant grenade energy. Ionic Traces grant universal energy. Void Breaches grant class ability. Stasis grants us melee energy. And of course, Tangles just give us something to chuck at another enemy further down the line in our carnage. Next up is going to be Faceted Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While Transcendent, the effect is increased. This build, this way we're going to have to play, is going to be extremely aggressive, so Faceted Protection is probably a necessity for this build, simply because of the reduced damage that you take while using it. And you're also going to be using it while you transcend it. Last is going to be Facet of Honor. Collecting an elemental pickup or destroying a tangle grants Transcendence energy of the same type. This is only going to further our ability to be transcendent in between when we are spamming our super, as well as our lightning surge. For stat distribution, I recommend speccing into melee, super, and weapons in that order. Any extra that you have, feel free to drop it into the grenade stat. At a 70, you're really not going to be hurting for your grenade. It's still going to come back as expected on time. But our main focus is going to be the extra damage that we do with our melee. At 134, which is just where I am, you get an extra cool 10% PvE damage to all combatants with your melee abilities. And yes, that includes your lightning surge. At 118 with your super, you get another 7.7% damage. And with your weapons, it's not much at 112. I typically like to have this around 130 if I can help it, or somewhere closer. You get an extra 1.7% PvE damage with primary and special damage, and with heavy, it's another just 1%. Is that really going to make a difference? No, not really, but it's just nice. It's like a little cherry on top. The big draw is going to be the large ammo brick chance, since we're going to be alternating between special and primary ammo weapons. Getting larger ammo bricks is going to be kind of a build into perk of your weapon stat. Speaking of weapons, first up on the list, the new exotic pulse rifle, New Malpais. Yes, that is exactly how you pronounce it. Don't worry, I Googled it. Its intrinsic trait, atomizing rounds. Rounds fired embed themselves in targets. Long press to detonate embedded rounds. The best part about this weapon is that if you shoot at a barrier champ before they pop their bubble, if you detonate these while their bubble is active, it detonates, and thanks to our artifact perk, it does count as pulse rifle, or I should say shield piercing pulse rifle damage. So you can stun barrier champs without even looking at them just by detonating your New Malpais embedded rounds. Suspending blast. Detonating a large number of rounds embedded in a single target suspends them. So effectively, if you're thinking about this in the endgame style mentality that most of us are starting to or already knee deep in, that is a cue for a possible one-stop shop, so long as you have ammo generated, for stunning all champs. Champs can't hurt you if they are suspended. So think about it. If you don't have the New Malpais, or you don't like it, and you also don't want to use your exotic in your primary slot, you can also, of course, throw on Mint Retrograde. Make sure you guys are farming those pinnacle ops to get yourselves a good roll of mint. It is still a ridiculous weapon to have on you at all times. In the energy slot, I highly recommend Ahab Char, Yeartide Apex, or if you have a good roll of the Mida multi-tool, Rev 1 that's been recently dropping with the newer update, feel free to put that on. Any of the auto rifles or some machine guns that you might like in this section will stun overloads. But make sure you get one that has burning ambition if you're going to be running in endgame content. Finally, in the heavy slot, I prefer to have a rocket launcher or something that's quick damage that I can throw on my back and it will auto reload, which is why you see the auto loading holster on there. But if by chance your exotic is still open by the time you are picking your power weapon, Dragon's Breath still hits like a truck. It might not benefit from being a featured weapon yet. However, what it does, this is going to be a hard one for everyone to put down who loves their solar explosions. So here we go, our exotic armor Crown of Tempest. Conduction Times is its intrinsic perk. While you have an arc ability equipped, arc ability or jolt final blows increase the recharge rate of your abilities and extend the duration of Storm Trance. We won't be taking advantage of the final part of that statement with Storm Trance, at least not in this build video. However, our abilities are going to be coming back to us in rapid succession with Conduction Times active. There's going to be so many buffs activated on the left-hand side, you might not even see Conduction Times flare up on the screen, but trust me, it's there. The key here is pairing this with Lightning Surge and also that Arc Grenade, or really whatever grenade that you want, because it doesn't really matter if it's an arc ability and it's used when you're wearing Crown of Tempest. All that's going to do is boost the recharge rate of all your abilities. As far as the rest of the armor goes, go ahead and spec into whatever general armor mod that you need. In the helmet, I highly recommend putting on 2 hands-on mods. When you pop Transcendence, you can use your Lightning Surge over and over and over and over again. By the time that you get about halfway through your Transcendence cooldown, because remember, all the kills and damage you do slows its decline, you should have your super back in virtually, I don't know, whatever that is, 10, 15 seconds, somewhere in there. And you'll be able to do that back to back. So when you're timing it right, you can use your super right after pop your Transcendence, and then bam, you got your super again. Make sure to round this out with a Solar Strand dual siphon. For the gauntlets, make sure you put on at least 2 heavy-handeds, but I highly recommend putting on 3. That way, every time that you get a kill with your powered melee Lightning Surge, you get that orb of power. All those orbs of power are going to do is refresh your woven mail, as well as give you some health back, and of course your abilities in general. For the chest armor, I highly recommend, if you're going to go into endgame content, putting on 3 elemental resistance mods, but you could also put an ammo generation mod in the 3rd slot if you so choose. For the legs, I highly recommend putting on 2 invigorations and 1 absolution. You could substitute one of the invigorations for a 2nd absolution. There's really no point in using anything else other than that. However, I will say you might make a case for putting either a strand weapon surge on or a solar weapon surge, depending on, your needs at whatever activity that you're doing. You could also make an argument if you just want a generic boost to your weapon stat, put on a weapons font, because you will have armor charges constantly. Last but not least, in the class item, make sure you have your class font equipped so that you can gain additional regen to your class ability. Throw on a Reaper for the few times you're actually going to think about using your class ability with this build, and every time that you do, make sure you get a kill with your melee after using, with Reaper. Once you get that kill with the weapons after using your class ability, you'll get an Orb of Power, and of course it reduces your melee cooldown every single time you use your class ability. But trust me, you're going to be playing so fast you might not even remember that you even have it with this build. And that's okay, because this build's a lot of fun. For the artifact, in column 1, make sure you have Anti-Barrier, Scout, and Pulse. Make sure you have at least the Unstoppable Side and Hand Cannon equipped, just in case you do go into an activity with Unstoppable Champs. But more importantly, make sure you have the Overload Rapid Fire, so that way any of your auto rifles and or submachine guns can stun those Overload Champs. In the second column, go ahead and throw on Threadling Proliferation. Dealing strand weapon damage has a chance to spawn a Threadling. This happens more often than you think, especially with new Malpais. I'm not sure if there's a correlation there. If you guys know of a correlation between those two, feel free to let me know in the comments. Make sure you have on Tightly Woven. This is going to be another way we're going to be able to generate our abilities back. While we have Woven Mail, we get Grenade and class ability increase to our stats. So if you're doing the math in your head, we've already got Devour, which gives us health and Grenade. Now we have class ability and Grenade on top of that. Of course, that's not counting, Conduction Times, which gives us all of our abilities back from Crown of Tempest, but, details. Also, make sure you have on Flame, Fiber, and Freeze, so you can put on the combo Siphon mod for Solar and Strand. In the third column, make sure you have on Fever and Chill. Rapid precision hits with solar weapons, grants Radiant. That is going to be huge because while you are Radiant, any weapon will be able to pierce Barrier Champ's bubbles. And also you deal more damage. Refresh Threads is next up, picking up an elemental pickup, matching your subclass element or tangle while you have a Strand Super, grants energy to your least charge ability. This is going to be key, just another way that we're going to get ability energy back faster. In the fourth column, make sure you have Elemental Coalescence. Defeating targets has the chance to create an elemental pickup, matching your equipped super. So that means you're going to be generating tangles pretty much all the time. Next up, we have the Elemental Daze. Stunning a champion with an elemental weapon creates an elementally aligned explosion, applying a matching elemental debuff to them and nearby targets. So whether that's Sever or Scorch or whatever, it all counts. If you aren't going to be seeing champs, you could swap this out with either Threaded Blast. You could do Shoulder to Shoulder. One of those two would probably be the best. In the final column, make sure you put on Radiant Shrapnel. Defeating target, dealing sustained weapon damage while Radiant, or defeating a Scorched combatant with a weapon causes the target to release solar projectiles that deal damage and Scorch on impact. Radiant Shrapnel, if you got a solar weapon equipped, should probably be equipped 100% of the time. And then last but not least, Shield Crush. I've said it once, I've said it a billion times. Shield Crush is a huge perk in this build. While you have Woven Mail, we get increased damage for our melee, and it's going to recharge faster. When we are amplified, we get increased grenade damage, and that recharges faster. Now, the exact details of how much faster it charges are a little bit... there's not an obvious answer. At least not from where I've looked. If you know the exact percentage of the recharge rate buff, let me know. I think somewhere in the finer details, I remember seeing something that said about 5%. So it's not a huge, it's not a huge difference. However, I have been told that the increase in damage percentage is, and you guys can fact check me on this. This is just what I've heard. I'm not saying this is for sure. It's not like I called Bungie themselves and asked them, but I've heard that it could be as high as 25% for each. So if that is the truth, that is 25% for each on top of what the stats already give us. Even if it's 10%, okay, like let's just say at 25%, there's no way. But again, I'm just going off of the little bit of info that I've read. It's not like Light GG has this broken down to a science. It just tells us it's an artifact perk. But if someone out there knows the exact percentages, feel free to let me know in the comments, because that's only going to help everyone. Even if it's 5% extra, that's still 5% that you didn't have before. But I sincerely do believe it is closer to 25. So that is the build. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know how it works for you in the various activities that you might find yourself in. If you guys do find anything helpful in this video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you know a Guardian out there who could benefit from this style of play, or maybe is looking for a way to incorporate a fan favorite exotic from past, and some of the perks from the new artifact this season, please consider sharing this video with them or send them my way. My goal is to help as many people as possible. As always, I will have a dim link in the video description. And if by chance you are looking for a non-toxic gaming community, feel free to hop into my Discord. We have a lot of great people in there willing to help with virtually everything out there. We've got everything from, Rage Sherpas all the way down to people who are just getting into the game. It doesn't matter. It's a great community. There's some really friendly people in there that will help you along your Guardian's journey. So I'm going to switch over to some more gameplay, and we'll wrap it up. Okay, so I really like this section of the gameplay. I know I normally do the boss encounter of whatever I'm running when I showcase a build, but this build just absolutely wrecked this section, so I'm going to let you guys watch along here. I just want to make a couple of quick statements. First, I don't know if anyone has been following, but the channel recently just hit 2,500 subs, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has contributed to help make that possible. You know, between the positive feedback, the good vibes, the support, of course, constructive criticism, which you guys know I welcome all feedback. It's helped me be able to grow as a content creator. And, you know, I just wanted to take a minute to just say, you know, I never thought that the channel would, you know, be growing like it has been. But I've really resonated with a lot of you guys. I try to respond to everyone who comments. I want to be as engaging as possible because, you know, there's so many times that, you know, sometimes people get feedback, especially with this game, you know, with Bungie, where, you know, people are giving feedback and it seems like it falls to the wayside. No, you don't get responses. And I vowed to try to be different, have a more open, you know, back and forth with everyone who's offering me some kind of feedback, you know, whether it's positive or negative or constructive or just good vibes. You know, I appreciate it all. So I just want to say thank you guys. Also, the second part of this is I was thinking of those who have followed the channel for a while know in the middle of my videos, I sometimes will give, most times I guess I should say, will give a synopsis of why I think someone should try a build that I'm talking about. I'm thinking about moving that to the end here when I'm doing the closing videos. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll incorporate it into future videos. But otherwise, I just wanted to again say thank you guys for all of your support. I will see you guys next time. Take care.